Welcome back to the channel. Today we're here with Paul Rowlands in his workshop, which is something special. We've been around and had a look at a few of his other buggies. We might get a little bit of footage of that in a bit. So, welcome to the channel.
Thank you very much.
So how has this got so out of hand?
I don't know, boredom.
Yeah.
Being in the wheelchair and not going out drinking at night, so clicking on eBay and that.
Need something to do.
No, it's a passion. I've been doing buggies ever since they came over with the 800 and the 900s and moved on to the 1000s and just followed it through, and it's just a passion.
What was you doing before the buggies?
I used to race quads. I was one of the top quad racers in the country. Unfortunately, 18 years ago, I had an accident at Western that left me in the wheelchair. And then I did Western 4 years in a row after that on a quad. But I need to watch myself with pressure sores and that. And also, the reason I've gone down the buggy road is because you've got a cage over your head, so you know, any problems, you're safe.
You can carry a passenger.
Yeah.
Safety. Yeah. So how did you get into side-by-side racing?
Like I said, I got paralysed. I used to be one of the top quad racers in the country, doing in motocross and enduros. The year before my accident, I did injure my knees, so I packed in doing the motocross on the quads and just was concentrating on enduros, which has always been a background of mine because I've always raced. You know, we live in Mid Wales, which is enduro country, so I've been brought up on two-wheelers all my life, and then just transferred that through to quads. And then from then, I had my accident and got into the racing. A good friend of mine, Martin Fletcher, and Philip Charles, they were a dealer up in Leeds, and they set a series up, and it started off, to start there was only about 10 or 15 of us, and just over the years that they've worked at it, and it's grown, and SXS in the UK, the manufacturers have produced year on year a better machine, and just more people come into the sport, so more fun to be had.
So how many years has that been going now? Maybe about 12.
Yeah, I've had buggies for the last 12 years. I can't ask. I'm not brilliant with dates. Yeah, but I just.
When they started it, there was nothing. There was nobody had them.
There was a few people had them. Like they went from the 900. There was when we first started off, we all had 900s. They first brought out the 800, and they brought the 900 out, and the 900 was a lot better machine. And we started off racing with Nora as a tag on to the quad meetings. We'd go to the quad meetings and we'd have 3 races a day with them, but some of the tracks weren't suitable. And then it followed on then they brought out the 1000, which was a more competitive machine. And then we went on to running our own series.
Yeah, so what have you had to change about the tracks?
Just tame them out a bit, like round the jumps off. A quad can cope with a lot better with a sharper jump, whereas you can use it with a buggy, but you just, you send it vert and it just comes down and it implodes. So if you tame the track down just with fast ski jumps, because the buggies are quite costly anyhow, and what was getting out of hand was people were damaging, destroying their buggies just because the tracks weren't right. Whereas if, I've got my track here, it used to be a motocross track because I used to run a British motocross team, but we've tamed it out now for buggies so people can race here to their heart's content as fast as they want, and hopefully it doesn't break the machine.
How many meetings do you have here a year?
Probably on average 2 a year.
Side-by-side racing?
Yeah, always side-by-side racing.
Yeah. So you knew Martin before? That was
yeah, I've known Martin 30 years. He got involved in the quads. So we've been good friends for that time. Unfortunately passed away this year, which would be a sad loss.
Yeah. But you are putting a memorial.
Yeah, we're going to put I've rung Tom and asked, can we sometime in the summer put a memorial meeting in, not part of their championship, and just have a fun weekend where everybody just remembers the spirit of Martin, what he's done for the sport.
Yeah. It's the only thing in the UK really at the minute.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. There is getting more stuff, SXS racing is the only one which is just solely SXSs, whereas you can do comp safaris, you can do some extreme events, but you just tag on. You're an additional class in their events, but they're good fun. It's it's developing.
So it's its own class with the comp safaris sort of thing, but you're running with all the Land Rovers and stuff like that.
Yeah, like the comp safaris, like it's a bit of there's like 7 or 8 classes. So you've got the slower Freelanders and Land Rovers, and then you've got the space framed, look like a Land Rover, but got like 700 horsepower. Yeah. And you wouldn't believe that our little old Polarises can match them.
Yeah, keep up with them.
Yeah.
It's out the box as well.
Yeah,
you don't have to change a lot of them.
No.
I know if you're going to absolutely go mental with them, arms and strengthening.
Year on year, the buggies out the box are getting better.
Yeah. So, what else is there? What else is there? Comp safaris, side-by-side racing.
Dirt. Rob Butler runs a series which is called Dirt, which is based on a short course of about a mile, 20-minute races, and I've been to them. They've done 2 of his events this year, and won 9 in every race, which proves good because you're up against a different extreme car, again 500 horsepower, and your little buggy can be competitive. Through the woods they're nimble. Good fun.
Been much abroad?
Yeah, in the past I've been to Portugal quite a few times to do what they call Portuguese Bajas, and they're really good events. But obviously, it's a week's job, maybe more than a week's job there and back with the ferries, and I obviously fly over. But for whoever takes the buggies, I have promised for several years to say, right, I'm going to buy a buggy, and I've actually got somebody over there which would look after it. But I don't know. Something else comes up in the UK, and I just seem to go down that road. And to be fair, they're really good events, but I haven't been now for 3 years.
Yeah, because a lot of them are longer legged, aren't they? Especially more suited towards the Can-Am anyway.
More suited to buggies. There's a big class now, over 120 range. On the first day, you do a special test, and then you normally do 70 kilometers. But then on the second day, it's 350 kilometers in one hit. So it's an experience, and very, the terrain is awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're in the middle of trying to find that sort of terrain in the UK, and it's just we just can't. We're struggling with it at the minute, but there'll be little bits where it mimics it, and we'll make it work. And it's not just us; it's all the Ultra4 boys as well. They're trying to do something over here, aren't they?
Trying to do something different, aren't they? Those countries are just lucky that they've got the open spanses, and they're also very dry. Because they're so dry, it makes somehow, because there's lots of valleys and ups and downs, that obviously it's not pasture land, doesn't grow anything. So you wouldn't believe in Portugal how it's just an SSS paradise. You know what I mean?
So what's the best event you go to over here? What would you say? I suppose it's some big like Walters Arena or.
I'm varied. Trouble I've got, because I've been doing it for so many years. I was used to do everything with SXS racing and done, but when you've been doing it for 8 to 10 years, you sort of get a bit bored with it. Then I decided I was going to do the comping, because there's lots of meetings which are only a couple of hours away, and it suited us. But the last 12, 18 months, I've got into extreme racing, whereas you're taking the buggy over harsh terrain. You need winches, and it's just something different, and it just makes it's a different adrenaline rush to what I've done in the past, But
a bit slower as well, you reckon?
Yeah, a bit slower. It's all the extreme racing is more about keeping the car together, because by nature you're going over big rocks. Nature, you're punishing the car, and it's getting it to the finish. Like a perfect example. I entered the 150, which is at Walters Arena. I think 40 cars entered, and only 6 made it to the finish line. I wasn't one of them.
So what's your general upgrades on to get them to the finish line?
Stock, they're not.
We've had trouble with prop shafts, so operate the prop shaft, you need a 1/2 thick skid plate. I tried doing one event with, I just bought a standard Polaris winch, and I don't actually think it was a problem with the winch. I think the problem was that you need big batteries, and I mean big batteries. So then I did an event about a month later where we went out and bought a giggle pin winch and put 2 massive batteries in the bed in the back, and it would pull you up the side of a house. And that was a game changer, you know. I've learned the last 12 months we've had some problems. I've noted those problems. So this next year we're looking to build an extreme car. Obviously, because I'm paralysed, with the Ultra4 cars, I struggle to drive the hydraulic steering. I can drive it, but I can't drive it in anger. And I'm going to build a car this year that can take on the likes of Jim Marsden, Rob Butler, and all the guys in the Ultra4. And I think that we can win. You know, I'm positive that this new Pro R, we can build a car that can win.
If they turn up.
Yeah, if they turn up.
If they turn up. I think
Yes, Mr. Colby, when they turn up.
Yeah. They will one day. Everyone will be happy one day.
Yeah.
But yeah, I reckon they'll dominate. They'll dominate.
Yeah, I would say there's some work to be done, but like I said, I've had 12 months doing extreme now. I've only done it in a Pro in the past. The Pro R is a Turbo R is a different machine again. But all the problems I've had, we've noted, and we're in the process of sorting those out.
Yeah. So what's this one being built for, the Turbo R?
Turbo R is, I don't really know the truth now. Whether it's Com Safari, I'm a bit of an animal with the machine, so I need more than one, because there's normally one in pieces. Although we're hoping to rectify that this year, because we're going to build out the problems that we had last year. But racing's racing.
Yeah, especially when the machines move on as well. It's not like you're racing the same machine for 3 years. You know everything about it, and that's that.
Yeah, and it doesn't help. My son races, so we can go to a Com Safari and we can have no problems. Or then you can go out to another meeting and you just come back with 2 cars and you're thinking, what went wrong?
What's he racing?
He races. He's done some extremes, but he doesn't like them. But from now on, he's going to concentrate on Com Safari. So he's this actually is his car.
Okay.
Yeah. We've got one each, you know. So he's having a Pro R, and he's going to have this car, and we've also got a loft house apiece. He drives his loft house because he's able-bodied, no problem. But I actually prefer a buggy.
Is that the one with is it Freelander?
It's called a loft house Freelander, but it's basically a space frame with a Nissan 350Z engine in. You know, rocket ship.
Yeah. But still, do you reckon the Turbo will keep up? Would just do just as good a job?
In 2020, I entered the British Cross Country in 2 classes, one in the UTV class and one in the loft house. And I came 2nd in the buggy and 6th in the loft house. So it says it all.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the space frame on it, you can see where the buggies come. You can see what the development of it, can't you?
But it's not 100% something all about the power. People got this thing, it's horsepower. There's a middle ground, whereas you need horsepower, you need suspension handling, which the buggies have got, and then I obviously need good braking, you know.
So do you want to talk about the what you?
Yeah, I drive with a rectangular steering wheel, thumb throttle, and then I've got my left-hand lever's front brake and my right-hand lever's back brake, and I feel totally in control. You know.
Your right-hand lever's back brake.
Yeah. Don't ask me why. Just who I am. Yeah, just where it is.
So I suppose that it gives you a bit of an edge really, because you can get the back end out
Yeah, I don't actually use it for sliding the back end that often. Maybe only on grassy stuff, because you just got to watch if you're on the shale, like you don't flip it over. But it's just having the confidence that you can push on that bit more, and you know the brakes are going to stop you.
So what do you have to use to compensate from obviously using your foot to your hands? I mean, like, do you have to go down a size on the master cylinders, or?
Yeah, well, basically you've gone from car brakes down to bike brakes. We've used Behringer and we've used Brembo brake levers. I like the feel of the Behringer, but they somehow don't pull the car up like I wanted to. The Brembos are good, and I found then a more expensive, the top of the range Brembo, and that stops it on a sixpence, and that really has. I think that's gained me, my Comp Safari, and it's gaining me a couple of seconds each corner because I can brake later. I got confidence, not that I'm pulling my levers in and when's it going to stop.
Is it going to stop? Or have I got enough leverage on it, sort of thing? So how did that setup come about? Is that something that came off something else? Or?
I drive when you drive a car, you're driving with push-pull hand controls. And on my first 800s and 900s, we had that. And when I started racing, we had it, but I just wasn't competitive. If you understand, you've got to.
It's a slow process.
When you're pulling back to the steering wheel, to when you brake, it's got to be a second or 2 seconds, and then you got to come back again. So with Martin over the years, I think to start with, Martin got like we had a rectangular steering wheel made with like bike handlebar grips, so you got both hands. The thumb throttle, to start, we had a cable throttle, which was not so easy to use. But now, the later vehicles are fly-by-wire.
Yeah, so a lot lighter.
Yeah, so it's a lot lighter. So you can use the stock throttle, just cut the end off, and then put a piece of metal on the end just for your thumb. And then, I say, it's taken us a few years now to get the brakes right, but the setup is brilliant. And then what I've had done is, because I've got a few buggies, I just got 10 sets manufactured, and then we just swap them from one buggy to another. You have to use a 2-to-1 steering quick now, because basically it's half a turn lock to lock, so it's quarter turn that way, quarter turn that way, half a turn lock to lock, which is...
Yeah, you don't want to be upside down trying to press the brakes.
Yeah, a lot of people say, how do you drive it so twitchy? It doesn't bother me. And luckily, as the years have developed, the steering racks the manufacturers have made the steering rack quicker as well, which has helped us. You put a 2-to-1 in, and then you automatically got it.
Yeah. You want to be involved as well?
He's the main man.
You want to be on camera? Yeah. So is that the only pretty much the only modification you've had to make?
Yeah.
The vehicle? Everything else?
Yep, no, that's it. That's the only modification. And to be fair, my missus, his youngest lad, he gets in and drives it, and he drives it with the hand controls, and he's no slower than he is on the foot controls. Do you know what I mean? So, it's...
We were saying earlier, weren't we? I bet your hands kill after a day's racing.
Yes and no. Like I say, I try and keep myself quite fit. When I'm at home in bed, I'll be working my fingers. I did struggle at one time. I sort of got arthritis in my fingers. So I had 12 months. Was as you say, go racing on the Monday morning. The palm of my hand would be like throbbing. I think, but it seems to have worked itself away.
Sorted itself out.
Yeah.
Plans for next year?
Well, lots of plans. Big year. I'm getting long in the tooth now. So, like I said, I really enjoy the job. I race different series. I like to race on average every other weekend, because if you go every weekend, it's too much. And especially if Jason's racing as well, because that's 2 of us, which, like, the mechanic's got 2 buggies to get ready. And it's fine. Comp Safari is not so bad because you don't damage it, but I quite like going down the extreme route, and I plan on next year, I want to try and win one of the Comp Safari championships. I haven't decided yet, All-Wheel Drive Club or South Staffs. And then Dirt, I got a series of 4 rounds, so I'd like to go there and do well. Nobby's got planned a couple of extreme events, and then also there's an Ultra4 Europe series, which I plan on, as long as we haven't got no date clashes, I'd like to try and do that. I haven't decided with the Ultra4 class. I'm tempted to enter my buggy in the 4400 class, which means you're up against your Mazda and the big boys. But I think as long as we get a car timely enough, we can do that.
Yeah.
But the plan is having some fun. I've got my own, I own a farm, a 700-acre hill farm, and people have been pestering me. I've owned it now 3 years. I've got a track here, which I've had for, since day dot. But the track here is a short course. I own the hill farm, which is 700 acres, and I've been approached by people now for a few years, but I've given in this year, and it looks like we're probably going to have 5 events there this year. So hopefully 5 events on the doorstep, even though I got the clearing up of the track afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's looking good. Lots to do.
It'll be a busy year for you next
Yeah,
year then.
definitely.
So, how many mechanics you got working in?
2.
Dedicated, full-time?
2 dedicated mechanics. When I say full-time, they're 80 to 90% of the time they're working on buggies. I've got a building business, but because I keep all my plant new, and then I have a Saturday mechanic which just comes, he does a plant on a Saturday, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Servicing, washing down. Like I say, my son, because Jason races as well, it's just a lot of work. And I think if we can have the winter this year, we'll be so much better prepped, because I'm in a fortunate situation that I can have 3 buggies for 3 different events. So this last year one weekend we've been doing comp safari, then we have to take all the back mud guards off to go extreme in, and the poor old car's it's had a hard life, whereas I'm hoping this year we've got a dedicated car for a dedicated series, and it just makes life easier.
Yeah, just load that one up that weekend. That one.
Yeah. And the reason why I've got 2 mechanics, because mechanics have got their own personal lives, so I need both mechanics for the extreme. But then on the comp safari, they'll take it in turn, so they can have weekends off, because they've both got social lives, and you've got to be fair on everybody.
Yeah, makes sense. So you're not down for the short circuits no more?
I think, like I said, we're going to run a memorial meeting for Martin here, which I think I'm obliged to take part in, and they'll probably have another meeting here, and they also have a meeting, or they had 2 meetings this year, at Pennybomp, which is only 4 miles away. Probably if I got nothing on,
jump in a car and get down there.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're gonna have stuff on there.
Yeah. Have some fun. Have some fun. Meet some new friends.
Yeah.
Hopefully have a laugh. And hopefully, as long as everybody races safe.
Yeah. Well, that's the main thing, anyway. Really keeping it safe, which I think most people do. I mean, no one goes out in something that's expensive.
So I got the philosophy that if you look down from the sky, we're just a bunch of numpties having a bit of fun. I'm no prima donna. We're just numpties.
Yeah. So what's going on with the XP over there? I'm guessing it's an XP.
Yeah, that's a new XP. Basically, she's down in 1 million pieces, being built up. We're going through it, strengthening the diff at the front. We put a Sandcraft kit in the front of there. The prop's got to come off this week and have the prop strengthened, and then it basically just get built. And I'm hoping these 2 cars, give it 2.5 weeks, there'll be 2 cars done. I've got my one the same as Turbo R behind me to do, but unfortunately that's done Bovington. So that's going to probably take a couple of weeks to go for it from top to bottom, because it's a sand track and it had a fair beating. So go from top to bottom, and then just pray to God that Mr. Polaris delivers me some Pro Rs for Christmas.
Yeah. So you're going to be running 1, 2. So you're running 4 cars next year?
4 for myself, and then Jason Love 2.
Yeah. You're going to need another mechanic, I think.
No, because you only need a mechanic because it's different weekends, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then because a lot of time in the past is because you're the different disciplines. Like when we do the Com Safari, you have to have all these stupid mud guards on, and but they take part of the time they get bent because you clip the tree or something. You just spend a lot of time going nowhere. Whereas the car this time will be built for that purpose and just come home, wash, prep, parked in the corner, ready for the next one. You know, the only reason I'm keeping just the XP Pro this year is he has some dirt meetings which are tight in the trees, and I run the XP Pro about 68 inches, whereas the Turbo R and the Pro R are going to be like 74 inches. So you're more apt to clip a tree, whereas they're more for the wide open stuff, you know.
Yeah, well, we went out in the Turbo R green lining, and it was tight.
Yeah.
You know, some of the trees.
Yeah.
Was, you wouldn't be trying to get through there.
No. Like I raced at Bovington, but like Bovington was wide open, and it does travel the ground really well. But we did a dirt meeting, and Jason drove his there, and unfortunately I broke the splines of my steering quickener, and we didn't have one with us. So I went in with Jason, and in the dust we clipped the tree, and I'd actually clipped that tree in the dust on the Saturday in my 64-inch one, so it's definitely, you know, it's a wider buggy and it is a bigger machine, but you know, it's horses for courses. Yeah.
Different machine, different job.
Yeah.
What have you done with your old buggies? Like, have you got any like original like? Yeah, because Alex has kept kind of his, you know, obviously not Alex, he kept kind of some of his older buggies that he started in. So we can look back through the range of stuff.
Yeah, no, I keep moving mine on. I'm not sentimental.
No.
Yeah. I'm not sentimental at all. I just move on to the next one. One lady owner.
Never raced and rallied. Yeah. So you do a lot. What I say, you do a lot of sponsorship.
Yeah. I've always helped. I used to run after I got the year I got paralysed. I did a deal with Honda to run their motocross team in the UK, and I think we run from 2005 to 2013, and this is adults and schoolboys, and I think we run 34, 37 British Championships. So I've always been involved with the bikes. A lot of it's been enduro bikes, then I went into the motocross. I got out of the motocross because it was a bit of a thankless task, and now I run a 3-man enduro team. Which lads from Wales, lads have got good potential. You know, they're up there in the British Championship.
You're still on Hondas?
No, we've been on Husqvarna, and this year we're going to Fantic and Vita.
Okay.
Just for supply. Honda don't make up, the lads ride 125s. Honda don't make a 125 anymore.
Okay, Youngish lads then, I take it.
Yeah, younger lads. 2 lads are 16 and 117. Yeah, but they're good, you know, lads with a bit of prospect. You know, they're doing British Championship and the Welsh Championship. And maybe I've got been approached at maybe sponsoring somebody for a lad who's contended for the British Enduro Championships, and I got thinking about that the weekend. I'll have a decision on that Monday. So I've helped a lot of riders out for a lot of years, just by nature.
Well, you obviously love racing, don't you?
Yeah.
Was you ever sponsored yourself?
Partly. Not Martin Fletcher's always looked after me. He's got me a few deals with various people. I've had a few clothing deals. Back in my quad days, Suzuki used to help me out. There's plenty going on. And I'm getting a time of life now that, you know, I don't know how much more life I got left in me. I'm hoping, you know, 3 or 4 years, definitely. I'm just trying to say...
3 or 4 years?
Yeah, but I am 58.
You've still got plenty ahead of you.
Yeah.
I say that, I'm bloody 35, I'm having a midlife crisis myself, so...
Yeah.
You have weeks where you think, oh, God.
Yeah, I think the thing is to sort of pick your events. No point going killing yourself, you know, trying to compete with the young ones, because you won't, you know, you can compete with them, but it'll hurt you a lot more on a Monday morning than it will with them.
Yeah.
But then you can go and have a lot of fun doing other events,
Yeah.
and to be fair, in quite a bit of the sport, there is quite a few people. A lot of it is old, not older people, but more middle-aged people than it is younger ones because of the
money
cost
that's
of it.
involved. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, basically because of the money. I mean,
Yeah.
you ain't going to find many 17, 18-year-olds that
No,
got spare
no,
30 grand to
no,
go racing. And
no.
It's, and if they have, fair play, they look at.
Yeah, because there's only one thing with the sport. You could have a few quid to do it.
Yeah. So what do you reckon your favourite event is? What would be the one that you'd go, I'd do that every weekend?
I don't really know.
Or you just want the variety of everything sort of thing?
I like a bit of variety.
Yeah.
I like kicking ass.
Yeah.
I know you can't do it every weekend, but I think my main issue, I'd like to beat Jim Mars, in the extreme stuff, Jim Mars is the man to beat.
Yeah.
And I'd like to go and beat him. I think I need to get back over to Portugal to do some of their events just because it's SXS all over, it's just made for it.
Yeah.
And I'd like to dip my toes back in the SXS this year and just, because since I've left, there's a few young guns come up through, just to see have I still got it or have I lost it?
Back on the short course?
On the short course, that is, yeah.
Yeah.
It's been a few years since, probably 2 years now since pre-COVID, that I've done it in any depth, and it'd just be interesting to see, am I competitive against these young lads,
Yeah. So you'd look at that as just doing a couple of events?
Yeah, a couple of events,
really
yeah.
Championship?
Yeah, no, because there's so much going on, because I've done the SXS for so many years, it's not high on my priority list.
Yeah.
There's other events I prefer to, like I said, just at the moment I got the buzz with the extreme.
Yeah, well, you've completed it and you've done the side by side.
Yeah.
And if you're number one, you're number one.
Yeah, number one. There's lots of us number one on the day.
Yeah.
What I like about doing is when you do a comp safari, you go, these people, like I've got a loft house myself, and people think they call the buggies golf carts.
Yeah.
All right, and I like the golf cart going and whipping their asses in a 400 or 600 horsepower car.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
And some of the 3 times the price probably, is it?
Brings more of a smile to my face that my old golf cart kicks your ass.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just the same old thing, isn't it? Really, it's old school now.
Yeah.
And they're not going to be able to compete with these.
No.
They're not going to. So
No.
they're just going to have them. But eventually they'll move over. They'll convert to them themselves because if they can't keep up and they can't win events, then without spending 200 grand, then when you could pick one of these up, convert it probably for what, 50?
50 grand. I think you'd get a really good car,
competitive car. So
and the thing is, it's saleable afterwards. Whereas like I got the Beast, she's worth 90 grand, but you haven't got many people got 90 grand.
No. Well,
but a lot more people have got 50 grand or 40 grand.
What do you reckon's in that car that's been spent on it to get it to a 90 grand car?
It's just a lot of the stuff comes from America, and because you've got the horsepower, the axles have to be so much stronger, and that car's actually cheap. I think if you went to buy that today, it'd be 150 grand.
Yeah.
But it's just like the transmission, the gears, the shocks.
Yeah.
But you need them big shocks because you're carrying like that's 2.4 ton.
Yeah.
Whereas these, I think, and we're hoping that the new Pro R is going to come out about 1,050 kilos.
Yeah.
So you're not. It's horses for courses.
You don't need a big Chevy V8. You don't need it.
Yeah.
But like even looking at that, when you look at it, it's like everything's strengthened, everything's strong, but it's still old technology.
It is. Yeah.
It's really old.
Yeah.
It's I think you've got to want to drive that.
Yeah. Butler now does make an IFS car, which is like means it's got the same front end as a buggy.
Yeah.
But the only problem with, like, I looked at buying one of Rob's car, but I just thought it's 94 inches wide.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? How are you going to get it through these woods? And a lot of the stuff, it might be right in America, because that's where a lot of these cars are made for, King Hammers.
Yeah.
But in the UK, and I haven't done it on the European Ultra4 series, but I've watched them. A lot of it is quite tight trees and that, so why would you want 94 inches?
You don't do.
No.
You don't.
You know.
It is an animal. It's like
Yeah.
there's not many places you'd take that.
No.
I don't think.
No. No. I say with the buggy, the way my hand controls are and everything, I'm in full control, so I can drive it. I can have an underpowered car and drive it to the limits. Whereas with the Beast, it's too much, and you can't. You know, it's boss of you. You're not boss of it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. But yeah, they're going to handle well. I just can't see anything. Any competition that these enter, I can't see whatever's running in that competition at the minute.
No.
Keeping up.
No. As long as you got in the right hands,
Yeah.
and you just inspect your car right, you've gone through it, you're right.
Yeah.
It takes some beating.
Yeah. Well, the scene's growing anyway, and I think there's more getting sold. There's more.
Yeah.
The second-hand market's coming up and becoming, affordable, should we say?
Yeah. Yeah.
And people start converting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
we've
it.
got both lights out.
That's that then.
I don't know why both lights went out.
It's the missus turning. That's dinner time. That is. Come on. Come back round.
Yeah, come back and have another look. I'll hopefully get something a bit more to look at. And maybe have some Pro Rs to look at.
Maybe, yeah. I think you need to get on to Rich about that.
Yeah. Oh, they'll come. They'll come.
They'll turn up as soon as he knows something. I'm sure.
They'll come for Christmas, but whether it's this Christmas or next Christmas.
Yeah, the problem is people are just trying to organise next year's race. And if they ain't got a car, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah. I'm lucky. I've got a lot of stuff. Been over the last, since February, really been ordering stuff. I got a lot of spare parts, and then I've got a lot of aftermarket bits as and when they come in.
Yeah, so you've
obviously got them bits coming off you now, so
fair investment in it now, so they better turn up.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, thanks for having us, and
thanks for coming down.
Thanks for your time. Yeah. And
we'll speak soon.
We'll speak soon.